Okay, good evening, everyone. On Google Meet, on YouTube, on Facebook, and all other platforms where you may be joining in. And welcome to this week's session of our live session. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that the week has been good. It's been Valentine's, so I hope people are feeling all lovely and in love and feeling loved and feeling appreciated. Those who are in partnerships and all that, as for some of us, it was just another working day, it's just one of those. But we are here. And this week's session is a special one in light of Valentine. We are trying to strengthen relationships, marriages. And with me tonight, I'm joined by Meg Race, who is a family therapist, So we have an expert in this matters. And tonight we'll be talking about chemistry and compatibility. What is what, and where does one come, and how, in relationships. And as always, I will be joined by my colleague Darius, who has just stepped out for a while for now, but he'll be joining us in this platform as well. Welcome, Meg Grace, and thank you so much for honoring us, with your presence. And we've been with you before in Life 101, and we've appreciated your wisdom and your expertise. And I know that tonight will not be any different. And over to you, Mama.
Okay. Thank you so much. And for those who have joined, my greetings to you and happy belated Valentine's Day. We hope that everybody felt loved and also expressed love to someone. And I'm very glad to be here today. So I am going to share a presentation. So hopefully I can be able to do that. So I'm going to see whether I can share a screen. Let me see. Okay. So I'm going to share my presentation. I had prepared a presentation on chemistry and compatibility. So just bear with me a minute and see whether I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll be talking about that. So let me see if I can find it. Okay, I think I can find it. So basically what I'm going to be sharing is we are going to be sharing what the definition and the differences between compatibility and chemistry. So I'm just going to share information on what's the difference, and then I will kind of try to explain how they impact how we get into relationships, and then we might try to answer some questions that anybody may have, and then we will see where that goes. Now, can you see it?
No. I don't think our platform is friendly towards that. So maybe you can just go. Yes, go okay, wait. Okay, there it is. I can see it. Those will be on Facebook can see it, but the ones that are in Google Meet will not be able to see it. So we will rely on your audio.
Oh, okay. So it looks like, can you still see it?
Yes, I can still see it.
Can you see me moving the slides?
Yes, I can see.
Oh, so if I move the slides, you can see it?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think I have never done that before. I probably am going to not share it, because if I share, then I'm not able to see the
Yes,
screen.
the view becomes only for the viewers.
Yeah, although I really need to, can you see it still?
Yeah, I can see it now. It had disappeared a bit.
Okay, so now you can see it.
Yes.
Okay, so let me go ahead and I will continue to speak as I go through the slides. If you have any questions, just interrupt me and I will stop
Not
sharing and answer the question. Sawa sawa.
not a problem. Thank you.
Okay,
There,
so
okay, just give me 1 minute.
sure.
Darius, please note any questions for us in Google Meet. I will be trying to see if we get any from Facebook from the viewers. So help me in that admin. Thank you, Mama. You can continue.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So I want to go ahead and define these two concepts, and then I will be free to answer any questions people may have. So in psychology, the term chemistry is often used to describe the intense emotional connection or attraction that can exist between two people. Now, if you have ever been in love, you know what that means. It is a subjective feeling that can be difficult to define or quantify, but it is often described as a feeling of ease or resonance with another person. Basically, what we say to each other, I feel you. And so there is a lot of tension, tension, which is what we call chemistry, that you feel towards the object of your love or the person that you are interested in. So you feel a lot of chemistry, the emotions are high, and you really kind of just are mesmerized by this person that you have met. So there is a lot of curiosity, interest that is happening between the two people, and so it's something that is really invigorating, and it puts you on a high that now people will say, I can't sleep, I have to talk to you before I sleep, and all that. And so it's a happy, very, very invigorating experience. And so all your endorphins are high, your dopamine is high, all those good feel hormones are high. And so you will experience a lot of that. Now, the areas of chemistry might be the way that they laugh at your jokes, the fact that they are mesmerized by you, the questions they ask about your day. How was your day? What happened? And they are all attentive. You want to know more. They want to know about you. You want to know about them. What have you accomplished in life? The way they smell or look. Many of us, we are attracted physically to people, and then we like the way they look, we like the way they smell, we like the way they dress, all that, how cute they think you are. All these things are things that we are talking about to each other. And a lack of chemistry results in a lack of emotional intensity. Things
Mm.
feel kind of dead and boring. And that is why sometimes you can meet someone, you can meet a person, and it's interesting to sit down and listen to them, but there is no chemistry. So you kind of, it's not that much, and you move on to something else. They might pursue you, but you're still not feeling it. So either their jokes are too dry or they are not interesting, whatever that is, it does not trigger the chemistry that you are looking for, or people are looking for in that area. Now, on the other hand, while chemistry can initially spark attraction and interest, long-term relationship success often depends on compatibility in areas such as communication style, conflict resolution, and shared values. A combination of chemistry and compatibility can determine the strength and the longevity of that relationship. So it is important to understand that chemistry is what sparks the interest. But chemistry cannot sustain a long-term relationship unless there is compatibility added to it. So, and areas of compatibility are these: life priorities. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Career goals. Preferences. What do you both enjoy? Fundamental beliefs. This is very important because when you think about your belief system, that is what informs the choices you make. It informs how you see the world, how you respond and react to the world. Very, very important. Values that guide our lives, e.g. marriage, children, politics, religion, etc. Those kinds of things are very important. Here in Kenya, we have this joke that goes around that when two people marry from some places, they will have political differences, and when during the political era, when we are preparing for elections, people who are married but they come from different tribes and their affiliation politically is with different parties, that they don't talk with each other in the house, because it sparks a lot of conflict, because their values are not aligned and they are not compatible, so that now they are unable to really see things objectively. So how do they handle stress, anger, or sadness? Now, I will share here a nugget about me personally. When I was in my 20s and discovering who I am and what kind of a person would be compatible with me, I learned how to come up with what I cannot stand in a relationship and what I must have. So one of the things I couldn't stand is anybody who cannot control their anger. If you have anger outburst, I am not even going to give you a chance, because it was important to me that you have what we call self-control. So as life would happen, I actually did date someone who was really good, and I looked at everything until one day we went to a I think either a restaurant or anyway, it was a place where we were supposed to be served, and the person who was serving us made a mistake, and this person went off on that server. And from right there, I made up my mind. We finished the evening and I was done, because for me, there was incompatibility. Now, somebody might ask me, would that be the only reason you walked away from the person? Well, there were other things that I was considering, because again, dating is a time when you are trying to figure out whether this person that you are dating is going to be compatible with you. And these are the areas you look at. And so you decide whether this is a deal breaker or this is not. And so for me, that one, I wasn't really, that was the deal breaker for me. There were other things I had seen in the process of dating the person, but that one was the deal breaker for me. So all the rest of them I was willing to overlook, but that one was, so you need to ask yourself some of these questions about the person that you are dating. Now we look at the comparison. Chemistry is the desire to go towards somebody. You are really desiring to get to know this person. It is what we look for initially on the surface level. This is what makes us go. We go for a adults getaway. And then I meet John and Steve and James and all these other guys. But then I choose to go with James, because there is something that at the surface level, there is something that drew me to him. So that is why I will not go with everyone, but I will choose one, and I will want to know them, so that I can get the experience of knowing who they are, because initially there is some sort of chemistry. And then it is an instinctual desire that sparks relationships to begin. So every relationship you will ever be in, it will always start with some sort of chemistry, whatever that chemistry is. It is much easier to establish than compatibility. Now, compatibility is about the maturing of that relationship. So what makes us want to stay there? That question is a compatibility question. What is it about this person? So I'm attracted to them, but what is it about them that is making me want to spend the rest of my life with them, or to even go further and get to know them, open myself up to them? What is it? The vehicle.
I have a question, Mama.
Sure.
So on chemistry, would it be the same thing as sexual attraction to someone?
Yes. Because the chemistry is actually taking all of you, the whole. It is about sexual tension. It is about physical attraction. It is about intellectual connecting. It's about a lot of things. There are a lot of things you see in that person. Maybe it's even about the fact that when you are around them, you feel calm. It can be when you are around them, you feel on fire. You know, they love fun, and it makes you, it makes life interesting for you. So it can be anything. And part of that is actually sexual attraction and sexual tension. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does answer the question. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. So the other thing we need to know about compatibility, it is the vehicle that carries this young relationship through life's curveballs and increases the romantic love or bond we feel for our partners. Now, this is what I normally say. When we are starting to know somebody, in the beginning of your relationship, it is your emotions that lead you to act. When that relationship matures and now you guys are moving into courtship and making plans, it is, and even into marriage, it is your actions that create the emotions. And this is what we need to know, that it inverts. So when we are starting off, it is this emotional high that causes me to pass by and see rose flowers and buy you those rose flowers. But then when we start living together, the novelty of this new relationship, or when we continue to date and we continue to get to know each other, we are moving into deeper levels of now what we call compatibility. And then at that point, there are things like care, things like compassion, things like kindness, respect, and honor that begins to grow into the relationship. And that is where now we begin to see that the love is not just about the feelings anymore. There is more to it, and that is the deeper level now of compatibility. That's when you begin to say, there are some things I don't like about this person, but there are some things that I really love about this person. The balancing of that. And now you will hear people saying in every relationship, there is the 80-20 rule. You like 80% and 20% is what you have to live with. Now, there is someone who is on Instagram who is asking, what is your deal breaker? Compatibility, what about them makes you want to? Oh, okay. She is writing back what I am saying. Sexual attraction, how interesting are they? Yes, those are some of the things we need to understand. Your dating is usually your time to get to know a person. Do not make lifelong decisions during the time when you are getting to know a person, because you need to wait for the chemistry to balance out with compatibility. And so again, compatibility is a natural alignment of lifestyle choices and value of the two people. So you see, you are not going to know how a person is within a week. You're not going to know them within 2 weeks. You need to give it time. Now, I need to say here, during the chemistry period, this where the chemistry is so high, is what we call the infatuation period of a love, the beginning of a love relationship. So the romance is very high. And that's what we are calling the chemistry. You're just feeling a lot of goodness with this person. We need to know that it is called the dream stage of any relationship. Now, even after you get married, because you see, if you are dating, and then you move into courtship, and then you move into marriage. Even with the marriage, you start with a dream stage, because most of us, you have never lived with this person. This is the first time that you are living with them on a day-to-day. You wake up every day and they are with you. I remember myself during our dream stage of marriage. I woke up one day and I'm like, wow, this man is never leaving me. He is going to be here forever. That this is it. He will never leave this bed. He's gonna be here for forever. So that is a transition. We call it the dream stage. And then as we go into the marriage and we grow, what happens is that we start the drama stage. And the drama stage is where now the chemistry is lowered, but then now you are dealing with compatibility. So it's about lifestyle choices, it's about preferences, it's about personality differences, all that stuff. And it can be a very disillusioning time for the relationship, because remember, you are coming from a high. You have very high expectations of this relationship, and then suddenly, that's why people say, you do not tell me you love me like you used to. We never do the things we used to do, and I'll be talking a little bit about that later on. So we need to understand that during this chemistry period, that emotions are the ones which are guiding, and we need to understand even a dating relationship goes through not cycles but seasons. So your first 3 months, for me, I call them your dream stage, and then after 3 months, you go through a drama stage that might last up to 8 months, because now you have come off the high and now you are seeing each other every day. Naturally, for human beings, there is the novelty of a new thing. And then we begin to get used to it. You don't appreciate it like you appreciated it in the beginning. Why? Because in the beginning, there was a lot of curiosity, wanting to know, and a lot of interest. And so it's almost like this new thing that you are learning, and it's very exciting. Once you have known everything about person, so to speak, quote unquote, everything, then the intensity of the curiosity goes down. And I hope that makes sense. And some of us who have been in relationships, you know what I'm talking about. Now, signs of compatibility. There is mutual respect. This is very important. And what do I mean by mutual respect? That you are not having this thing that I hear a lot with those people who are in relationships, but they are disillusioned. I hear people saying that we have double standards. So my person does not want me to do this, but then they feel it's okay for them to do that. When there is no mutuality in the relationship, when we do not practice the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, when you do not allow yourself to have empathy for your person, that's a sign of incompatibility. You would need to ask yourself, why is that? So that now you get into a deeper level of understanding of each other. So there has to be mutual respect. And I like to use the word honor together with respect. So what is honor? Honor is this next point where you accept your partner as they are and admire them for it, and don't keep trying to change them. You see, it's very important. So I honor the person you are. I don't try to change you. I can complain about your choices or your behaviors, but I am not going to put myself on a superior space than you, telling you you shouldn't do that. I can share that I don't like it. Like, for instance, the example I gave. I told the guy, I really don't like the way you treated that young lady. That was rude, and I felt very embarrassed because of the way you shouted. He apologized, but then there were other things, like I said, there were other things that I had seen, and this one was something that I said to myself, no, this one I don't do that. Yeah. So the other thing that is a sign of compatibility, you uplift each other and validate each other's perspective. Now here we are talking about you feel compassion and you feel kindness and empathy towards your partner. Now you have moved. So the high levels of chemistry have leveled out. Now you are seeing the person and you have deepened your interest in them by really looking at them and uplifting who they are, honoring who they are, and respecting their way of thinking, and seeking for the two of you to now influence each other. Because what I'm finding a lot with marriages these days is that there is a lot of lack of being empathetic with each other's opinion. So if I have my opinion and I share it with my partner, immediately they go into attack mode. And then when they go into attack mode, I go into defense mode. So we don't uplift each other. That conversation ends with a lot of pain, with a lot of bad feelings, because the compatibility is not happening. And so it is important to understand that, and maybe I will talk about that in a little bit more. Now, you share similar lifestyle choices and goals. Now, this does not mean we are the same. No. Now, for instance, some of our values, you see now for me, the value of how I manage my emotion was I have self-control. I don't yell at people. I don't shout. I talk to them on an adult level. And I don't need to feel powerful for them to listen to me. So if they make a mistake, it's okay. I am going to offer grace. Now, if my partner does not share in that similar goal or value, what will happen every time we have a tiff and he raises his voice and he goes berserk, I am left feeling unsafe in his presence. And that is going to be an incompatibility, and then it will affect our chemistry. You see, so I don't feel safe with you because of the way you act. Let's look at another one. Is the issue of boundaries when we talk about flirting with others, when we are in a committed relationship, or even the whole idea of fidelity. If that is happening, I am a person of fidelity, faithfulness, and I believe in one person with one. I don't do those other things of looking for attention from out there or giving attention to anybody else. And my partner does not think that is important. He doesn't think it's a problem. We are going to have incompatibility issues, and then the chemistry is not going to be there. At least it won't be consistent, because immediately the relationship goes into an unsafe space. So emotionally, there is no safety. Plus now, if my partner is having other sexual partners, now there is also the issue of health. That now we are looking, and I'm saying my health is not being protected here. So it is important to understand some of your compatibility issues. For you need to say that to yourself. Now, for me, I also had another one. My other deal breaker, or my other issue of compatibility that I really wanted, is respect in this way. If I say no, I really expect you to listen and honor my no. So I had this opportunity to date a guy who, it wasn't that one. Me, I was single for a long time, so I dated a few guys before I finally, met my husband. So this particular one, his issue was really honoring what I would say. So simple things like, do not call me between this hour and this hour, because I will be doing this and that, and my phone will be off. So when I'm done, I'll call you. Then I turn on my phone and I'm finding 7 missed calls, and then I find a text from someone in his office that when you have time, please call so and so. And I felt so disrespected. So that was for me an issue of incompatibility. It meant for me that you do not have self-control, you are impulsive, and you cannot wait. And that for me is a childish way of doing relationship, because we were both in our mid-30s. I expected that you respect my request. So it is important for us to understand the skill sets that we need to understand how relationships work. Now, there is something else I want to say here, and I want to show you this. This is very important. It's the triangle of love, what it looks like. But before I go there, let me go back here so you don't get distracted by that. So let me say this as well. When you are planning to get into a relationship, you start dating, there is something you need to do for yourself and ask yourself, are you mature enough to be in a relationship? And I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about maturity. And for another phrase for emotional maturity is what we call emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? It means that I am aware of myself. I know how I feel. I know I'm triggered when I'm triggered. And then number two, I am in control of my emotions, that I am able to feel, but then I'm able to look and say, how do I control myself so I don't go off on people? You see, so I have self-control, self-respect, and I have respect for others. So emotional intelligence has also the tenet of social intelligence, or what we call social awareness, that I am aware of other people who are going to be impacted by my choices. And so I protect them even as I regulate myself. If I do that, then I create what we call interdependent relationships, not codependent, not dependent. No, I create interdependent relationships where I'm giving and taking and my partner is giving and taking. We are both doing an adult relationship. So we are not going into I am the parent, you are the child. So I tell you what to do and you listen to me, or I'm the accuser and you are the defender. We don't go there. Me, I need to be able to ask myself, am I ready for the responsibility of being in a relationship? And if I go into a relationship and I feel insecure, I feel that when I get triggered, I can't regulate my emotions. I feel that I cannot stand the fact that my partner wants to do things their own way. If I am struggling with all of that, I need to take a step back and take care of my own emotional development so that I can be able to understand myself, and I can also understand how to be in a relationship in a healthy way. So it's important to have that question, am I mature enough to be in a relationship? So it's very important to do some personal work in that area. Now, let me show you this. This is this is what we call the triangle of love. And the triangle of love, it shows us what are the components of real and abiding love. So you see at the top there, we have the intimacy. Then on one end here, we have the passion, which you can also call infatuation. And then on the other end here, we have commitment. So when you look at the way this one is done, when you have passion and intimacy, which is now I like this person and I have a lot of passion to them, so the chemistry we talked about, then what you have is what we call romantic love. This usually is the beginning of a relationship. So I like you a lot, I feel very close to you, and we have the passion with it. On the other hand, if I have intimacy and commitment, but there is no passion, then we have what we call companionate love. Now, we know that most of our marriages are here, marriages that look like they are happy, these are content to be together, they like each other, they have intimacy, but they may not have passion, or their passion comes and goes. It's not the constant. So that one we call companionate love. Then the empty love, this is where people get themselves into a commitment when they were in the infatuation and romantic stage. So there was something that happened, that they were forced by circumstance to create a commitment. So they actually make the decision to be together. But maybe because of children, we got pregnant and now we have a child, we do the right thing. But then if they do not grow their liking, their intimacy, and their passion, this is going to be what we call empty love. So it is important, even when you are thinking about your dating process, you know that you start with a romantic love, and then it grows into, and it will grow into companionate love. This is when you are doing, actually, when I look at the dating process, I see when people are doing the courtship, so we are preparing for marriage, then we have the companionate love, and then when we get married, then we enter into the consummate love. Now this consummate love has all three components, which is intimacy, passion, and commitment. Now, let me say about passion. Passion is not just that chemistry that we talked about. It's about being passionate about the person, that you are interested in them. You have a personal interest in them, how they are, who they are, what they want, what they don't like. So you become a student of your partner for the rest of your life. You are constantly having interest and what we call curiosity. Now, what happens when people enter into companionate love is that they don't have a lot of passion for each other. So walizoea, it's like, sorry, that is Swahili. They got used. You see, we just got used, and so we became.
Is this when they say we are now like brother and sister?
Yes. So the thing that would keep bringing in passion into your relationship is interest. So, for instance, when my partner does something that irritates me or makes me feel like, why does he do that? Instead of going into why does he do that, I might be curious. Allow myself to be curious and say, hey, by the way, you did this and this, and I thought about it this way. I am wondering why you did it. What was the reason? Where were you coming from? So I have curiosity, I have interest. But what we normally do when somebody does something that causes us to feel pain or to question their intentions, we accuse. We don't even seek to figure out why. And even when we seek, it's like we are interrogating. It's not interest. We are kind of listening to see how they will lie to us. You see? So there is a part of during the drama period of your relationship, what happens? Women become resentful and they shut down. They now shut down the passion. Men, they become rebellious and they divert the passion elsewhere, at work, with someone else, or social events, or making business or whatever. So because during the drama stage of your relationship, you are experiencing a lot of disillusionment, a lot of unmet expectations. And so there is confusion, there is sadness, there is fear, there is loss, all those things. So it's important to understand that during the chemistry period, you are feeling all these great and high emotions. And then when we start to mature the love, then we go into crisis. And if we are not able to be aware of this is normal, then we start fighting each other rather than being able to recognize that, okay, this is compatibility issues we have now. Because when you are living apart and me, I was living apart, I never used to worry about somebody coming into the house with their shoes. And you see now, you come into the house with all your shoes instead of leaving them out there. And then we start asking each other, who does that? Yeah, how now do you do that? You see? So we begin to really create mistrust with each other. And so the passion goes away. And for some people, passion and intimacy goes away. And intimacy, think about it as now what we might call friendship. The friendship that causes you to still come together even when you're not feeling too good about each other. So that was my presentation. That's what I had prepared. So I'm going to stop there, and then we can see whether we have any questions, any clarification that I can do. I will be glad to do that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mama, for that wonderful presentation. Darius, you had a question. Darius? Okay, do we have any questions here on Google Meet? Okay, I don't see any. I want, okay, my question. Okay, there's a hand. Wendy, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Now you sound far. You were audible when you were asking if you're audible.
Okay, am I audible enough now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, my question is on compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So okay, I'll just have to explain my situation. Of late, I have been meeting people whom I am compatible with, but then there is no compassion. There's no that chemistry, rather. So I was wondering, how do you generate the chemistry? How do you ignite that chemistry? Is it supposed to be something that just happens naturally? Or maybe most of the times I've been thinking maybe it's because of what I have been through. I had a nasty breakup some time back, and then I was alone for a very, very long time. So I decided, maybe it's time to date again. So from the time I decided to start dating again, I've only met people who I'm compatible with, but there's no chemistry whatsoever, and it has been hard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You want me to answer it?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, how can you generate chemistry? You feel that there is compatibility, but there is no chemistry. Now, you guys know as Africans that many times we have had communities where love is arranged. We know that, yeah. So people are compatible, but there is no chemistry because it's an arranged marriage. So the compatibility of the arranged marriage is that you are from the same tribe, your families know each other, your values and religion and all that. So there is this compatibility of values and cultural similarities. So you get together, and then you have committed yourself to the relationship because of this fundamental compatibility, and then you grow in love. Now, the Western way of doing love relationships is they fall in love first, and then they commit to the person they are in love with. So I would say this to the person who has asked the question: there is nothing wrong with the way that you are doing it. So don't look for chemistry if there is a person you are interested in, because you want to start with interest, and then you want to allow yourself to get to know that person, so that if there is going to be chemistry, it is going to be chemistry that will grow because you guys already know each other. So there is nothing wrong with starting with compatibility and then allowing chemistry to grow. Now, why is that? You shared about past hurts. And probably the reason why chemistry is shut down is because you have been hurt so bad that you are not going to release yourself to someone unless you really know that you can be able to trust them. So there is nothing wrong with that. Because again, there are many people who fall in love and then they find out they are not compatible and they have to go through a breakup, an emotional breakup too. So either way, whichever way you go, it depends on where you are, who you are, and what you are looking for. By the time myself, I was probably 30, 35, I wasn't looking for a high. I wasn't looking for that emotion. I was really looking for a person who is compatible with me. That's why I had my deal breakers. If you are a person, because you can come and I have these high level tensions of how the chemistry and sexual tension and all that, and I'm so attracted to you and you are so attractive, you open your mouth and what comes out of your mouth is trash. I'm done. You know, the chemistry is not enough for me to pursue that because there is no compatibility. And so it is important to understand probably the reason why there is no chemistry is because you are not you are not looking for that. You are not looking for the shiny. You know, I don't know about UCR, but here in Kenya we have this thing we ask: why are good girls attracted to bad boys? You know,
it's all over.
Yes, and you know, one of the reasons is because of low self-worth, not low self-esteem, low self-worth. So that now I need a shiny individual to make me feel and look good, but I don't think I'm good without. You see. So the process of making sure that you are getting into relationships with people who have longevity is to make sure that you are aware of yourself and you have healed yourself first. You cannot go into a relationship expecting someone else to heal you, because you are going to attract people who are not healed. Because you remember, there is this thing that we call trauma bonding. So I have my own trauma. And during this chemistry time, when we are infatuated and everything, I will look at this infatuation as if it is the real thing, you see. And I forget. And then later on, I start saying, oh, you changed. You are not like this when I met you. Nobody is themselves when you meet during the first few weeks. Think about this way, yeah. We start when we meet each other. We talk until 3 in the morning. You hang up. No, you hang up fast. You know, we are so interested. But then by the time we have been like this we need to sleep at some point. You know? And so the curiosity, once the curiosity has been, you have known what you needed to know, you feel these things, then the relationship naturally needs to go into a deepening space. You see?
Yeah.
So it is important to know that. And now, when you get married and you start the drama stage of marriage, let me tell you something. You've got to make the choice to do the right thing every day in order to keep the chemistry and the passion going. But if we just go and think and they lived forever and ever after, we are not going to create that relationship. Is going to stay in infancy stage. But for a relationship to grow, we've got to personally grow and understand what it takes to have to create and maintain a relationship of trust, mutual trust, a relationship that is filled with intimacy, which is what we are talking about, the feeling of vulnerability, that I can be safe with you. And you are not going to use my words against me because I opened up to you. So that is how we know. Now, let me say this to those of us who are dating. You start dating somebody, and during those first weeks of dating, you are very open. We are usually very vulnerable to this person because everybody wants to be known and they want to know another person deeply. You see? So it's natural. It's natural for us to be open. And then 2 or 3 months later, something you told this man or this woman that you are dating during the beginning of they take it and they throw it back at you. That is the end of trust. So from that moment on, that woman or that individual, that man, they will never feel safe with you. You stop being a safe person. And so now the chemistry begins to die off because now there is no attraction. because I saw this ugly side of you. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why that's why I said, if you have unhealed things, heal them first. Don't enter into intimate relationships. If you have wounds, try to heal them before you do that. Now, there's somebody who's asking, how do you deal with jealousy towards friends in relationships in the season of waiting? So I'm imagining whoever is asking this is an older person, probably in her 30s, who is in waiting. How to manage that is to really watch your thought patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why you are jealousy, it's because you are probably telling yourself that you have been surpassed. You know, these things should be happening to me. And something is not me. Why is it happening to others? So in order for you to manage that, be aware of yourself. What do you feel? I feel I have been left out. I feel lonely. I feel things happen to others, but they don't happen to me. Those are the things you are telling yourself. So the narratives that you're telling yourself about your waiting and about other people finding love and you are not, those are the narratives that you want to make sure that you are aware, and then replace them with appropriate ones. Now, me,
Yes.
I stayed all the way until I was 39. That's when I met the man that I married. There were many times that I used to say to myself, how come the things that I want, they come long? You know, why do I have to work hard and wait and all that? So I began to tell myself that this is my journey. And I started to tell myself, there is a reason why I am single. And the reason why I am single is because I have not yet. It's not like I'm not dating. I am. But the people that I am dating, it becomes very difficult for me because they are not compatible with me. And as I grew older, I stopped looking for the shiny, the tall, dark, and handsome, and started looking for the kind, empathetic, and compassionate. So my values and what I was looking for in relationships moved. And so when it moved, meant that I am going to be much more keen on what I'm looking for. But there was something else. I needed to be, can I, they say these days, can you fall in love with yourself? So you are looking for Mr. Right, but are you Miss Right?
Yes.
Can you
do you love
fall
yourself?
in love? Yeah. So that was the journey. While I'm waiting, I did a lot of that journey. And so I dealt with my insecurities, I dealt with my daddy issues and my fears of the unknown and all of that. So I want to encourage whoever is single and you are wondering how you are going to do this, this navigation of waiting and dating and all that. Please get some help. Invest in some sessions of personal journey of self-awareness. And especially go to the therapist you go to and you say, I would like for you to take me through a journey of improving my social intelligence and my emotional intelligence. Because I want to be healthy so that as I enter into relationship, first of all, I can attract the people who are healed. And because what happens if you are broken and you know your brokenness, you run away from people who are whole. Because you think, I don't deserve them, you see, because I'm so broken. But if I heal, then I'm going to be looking for other people who are healed and they are not they are not struggling like me. So we want to make sure I'm not going into relationships because I feel small and I need somebody to make me feel bigger. I really want to go because I believe that I am worth it and I have something to bring to the table. Not in a codependent way where I'm saying I have to work hard for me to be accepted. No, I am very confident that I have what it takes to bring to the table to make a relationship. And I need to also ask the same so that I'm not again getting into a relationship where I'm trying to fix a project. You see, there is this saying they have. I have seen it on Google where they say that relationships are not a rehab.
Yes, please. Thank you, Ma. I wanted to add on your answer to say,
yes.
ideally, we would like to have both chemistry and compatibility, because ideally
Yes.
chemistry is what begins the journey with a person, like how you
Yes.
just, click with them and like them. But it does not mean that a relationship cannot start without it. Like, you can start
Yes.
a relationship without the chemistry, as long as
Mm.
compatibility is there, because what keeps the relationship, what maintains the relationship, is not necessarily the chemistry, but the compatibility. That's what you
Yes.
need. So I wanted to agree with you to say that ideally we should have both, but if we were to sacrifice one, let us not sacrifice compatibility, but rather sacrifice chemistry. And I
Yes.
wanted to, as you were saying, as we were talking about, compatibility and interest and whatever in people, I'm reminded of a time where some guy was asking me out, and
Mm.
one of the reasons why he
Mm.
found me interesting was that I'm public about my HIV status. I'm living with HIV. So he got to know this, and he comes to me with this idea of, I'm also HIV positive. So you are also HIV positive. So we can make this work. And I was like, no, dude, please. Don't come don't come to me
That's
with
not
that.
compatibility.
That's not a
Yes.
compatibility test for me, or issue, or whatever. Please go deal with
Yes.
yourself. I know who I am, and
Yes.
just because I'm living with HIV doesn't mean I should date with somebody. And so he was coming sort of like emotional blackmail type of thing, that,
Mm.
so this would work better, whatever. I was like, no,
Mm.
bruh. Like, look somewhere
Yeah.
else and whatever. So some people have a weird idea of compatibility. So it's very
Yeah.
important what you're saying, that we should know our self-worth, and you should know who you are. Invest in self-awareness. Self-love
Mhm.
without self-awareness is useless. You can say you
Yes.
love yourself and all that, but if you're not self-aware, then you're gonna find
Mm.
yourself being trapped in relationships that you should have never even started with in the beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can see that Darius is trying to talk to, he says, he's asking, are you getting me? So you can't
Oh
hear.
no, we had lost him. Let me add him again.
Yeah.
I've been trying to talk. I don't know whether you people were not getting me or what for a very
You
long
you
time.
you were off the stream. It looked like you had left completely.
No, I've been on the stream throughout. I've been listening throughout and asking questions, texting, nothing. So I said, let me just log out and
Sorry,
log in.
sorry, sorry, sorry.
Some of the questions are even gone, but let me just ask the ones which I can remember. So, I'm, as you may know, Mami Grace, by the way, thank you so much for the presentation. As you may know, I'm a psychologist, I'm a counseling psychologist, and I've had situations, I've met people. So I'm asking this on behalf of the listeners. I want them to have a pinch of some of the things we experience in the therapy room. So there are some individuals that have this thing that, or this mindset of I can heal if I meet the right partner. Actually, a good number of people get into relationships to heal, and I would say there are so many stories of how things just move from bad to worse, and there are also some stories, some pocket situations here and there of people who tell you that actually when they met the right partner, they got healed, or they got over their past, challenge. So, what's your comment on either of on both? Situations where somebody gets into a relationship to heal and they end up falling in harm's way, and those who get into relationships to heal and they claim their partner helped them heal because it was the right partner.
Yeah. Now, so the one of the things that that informs our understanding of that kind of thought is the attachment theory, and the attachment theory is looking at how we attach in our adult relationships because of how we were raised, how we attach to our caregivers. So either we feel that we are emotionally wounded, and we are looking for someone to heal us, a relationship to heal us, because we feel anxious and preoccupied. We need and we have these emotional needs that we cannot be able to be okay without a relationship. So usually I do know that if you meet a person who's secure, so a person who is secure is usually a person who is secure within their own skin. These are the people who you will see they have very high levels of intelligence, emotional intelligence. And basically, emotional intelligence is knowing how to manage your own emotions and to manage the emotions of the people around you. So what you find, if you are wounded, if you are coming in with trauma, you have a lot of wounding, if you manage to find and be with a person who is secure, a person who has no wounds, they are okay with who they are, and they don't get triggered to go into self-preservation, there is every reason that you can heal your own woundedness, because they give you a space to heal. So normally what happens is that when you are wounded, you trigger other people with your woundedness. So for instance, if I am wounded, I'm needing this relationship to make me feel secure. So I need a lot of reassurance. I need a lot of presence, connecting. And I need a lot of this, almost like nurturing, and I need you to tell me I'm safe. I need you to constantly allow me to say I'm not safe, and you to tell me you are safe, So I need a lot of that. Now, if my partner, then they cannot handle that intensity of emotion. So what they are going to do is they are going to block me. So they go into dismissive, avoidant. So they are like, hey, it's too much, they hide, or they dismiss the emotions of this needy person. So this person is not going to heal, because what is going to happen is that they trigger their partner is triggered to run. So it is this pursue you and you are running. So that there is nowhere you are meeting. But when you are with a secure person, what the secure person does, they hold space for you. And then the holding space for you is where I can hear you, and I can sit with you without changing how you feel, trying to pacify you or trying to explain away why you should be stronger than that. I just hold space. But on the other hand, I can also do compassion. Compassion, the difference between empathy and compassion for me is that empathy, I don't have to change your situation. All I need to do is to sit there and say, I hear you. I know. I am so sorry. I hold you. It's okay. We will get through this. But compassion is, I hear you. I am sorry you are going through that. What can I do? You see? So I am also guiding you. Now you are a life coach here. See, that is what the life coach do. They kind of hear, they listen to your issue, and then they say, okay, so how do we get out of here to there? So when I am with a healed person, a secure person, and I'm hurting, the person is going not only to provide me with a safe space to explore my feelings, but they will also help me to find a way out of my feelings. So girls who hold space for each other, they tend to do pity parties. So we pity party, but there is no out. So then we feel better. It's almost like I had a stomach problem and I was bloated. So I come and I throw up, and you hold me and we finish the throwing up, but we never go and say, what is the root? Is it what you ate? Is it that you are not drinking water? Are you stressed? We don't go into the root. But you offer me that empathy, but the compassion is going to guide us to get solutions for the problem. So that is what a secure individual would do for somebody who has wounds, and the dating or the relationship can bring some healing.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you touched on. Just give me a moment, Darius, please. I'm so glad that you touched on attachment styles. That's what we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks in this session. Talking about attachment styles. So for people that have been with us for the past 2 weeks, third week now, this answer is very much valuable. There is a question on Google Meet before I give Darius a moment. Is it safe or okay to find a partner on social media, for example, Facebook or WhatsApp? But before you answer that, let's give Darius a chance.
Yeah, so what I wanted to maybe, I would thank you, by the way, for the answer, for the response. That was well tackled. So now, having underscored the point that it is possible for somebody to get healing when they have a partner who's in a secure space or who's okay. But now the risk I think that is there is where now people who are broken or who have a lot of unresolved issues will now aspire to be a Mrs. Will now aspire to get healing through a relationship. I don't know if you're getting it. So we have a bunch of people that will not seek professional help. And if it's in my country, it's even very common. Counseling or professional therapy is not taken seriously. Okay, a good number of people will not do that. Would rather go maybe for traditional methods of maybe advice, guidance, and traditional methods of counseling, but not professional one. So in most cases, people would want to just live on autopilot, just to let life flow, let just time pass. Okay, if I meet the right person, I'm gonna be fine. Okay, now, but what are the dangers of people leaving their healing to time and not to choice? Leaving their healing to a possible good partner who's not even guaranteed whether they'll get one.
Yeah. Well, the danger of doing that, where you are looking for a relationship to heal your attachment trauma, let me just call it that, is that you are thinking that you do not have the power to heal yourself without a relationship, and so that puts you in danger of losing the opportunity to grow. So you are expecting somebody else to actually be the answer to the problem that you have. So one of the things that the danger of that is that we continue to perpetuate the same thing. We are living on survival mode. So now, even when our life is doing well, we have a lot of anxiety because we are not sure, because we think that life happens to us. We don't feel that we make choices so that life happens the way we would want. So when we go into crisis, we immediately go into a lot of helplessness and hopelessness, feeling that we need someone to come and rescue us, you see. So when we seek counseling and we go through a professional journey with a counselor, what the counselor does for us, they help us to learn how to, number one, self-regulate, so that now when I'm in crisis, I know how to calm down. I know how to guide myself into self-soothing and safety again. And then we develop what we call resilience. So I bounce back. And now I am able to look at my life and realize that I have control. Anxiety is usually a feeling of loss of control, that something bad is happening, will happen, and I won't be able to manage it. I'm going to be buried. So we feel this overwhelm, and usually the overwhelm comes from a feeling of helplessness, like I don't have the tools to be able to overcome this. Now, I will say this. With attachment theory, what it helps us to understand is that these issues of helplessness, people pleasing, emotional dysregulation, the fear of the unknown, the belief that I am not as good as I think I am, the fear that people will find out I'm a fraud, even though they think that I'm all that, all those things they are rooted in the fact that when we were children, our caregivers were not able to give us that confidence that we are loved and acceptable, that we are safe and we can make mistakes and it's okay, that we are competent and we can dream up anything, and if we put effort we can actually actualize what we dream about, that we are people of worth. And so they are going to drop everything else and tell us, Grace, what is ailing you? How can I support you? When you think about children are so afraid because they have never lived life before. Now, if this child helped to deal with the fear, to be soothed and to be reminded, it's okay, you are going to be okay. As an adult, they don't develop that self-soothing. So they tend, what happens is that now we go into performance. So I keep performing to prove to myself that I am good enough. Some of us, we were rejected. We experienced a lot of abandonment and rejection with our parents. So what we are doing, we work so hard to be able to gain back the acceptance, the validation, and that feeling of safety with a parent. So what happens? We are looking, like Daria said, we are looking for a relationship to affirm and validate our worth, you see. So when we get into these relationships and they don't do that for us, we get so discouraged. We get so wounded even. And some of us, we stay longer than we should because we are hoping and waiting for the relationship to change, the person to change, and for us to get what we want. And again, the other thing that we do not realize is that sometimes we don't even know how to quantify what we want. And the other person is not hearing us because the way that we are communicating is invalidating, is too overwhelming. Even for them, they can't handle it. And they have their own wounds. So there is a lot of value in actually acknowledging that there is a reason they are what we call life coaches, and there is a reason they are therapists, and there is a reason they are counselors. Going to a therapist or going to an expert in a subject does not mean that you are weak. It really means that you acknowledge you have a need, because we are not everything. We are not know it all. So even me as a counselor, there are many things that I don't know. Even with my years of doing marriage and family and individual counseling, there are things that I still don't know, and I need to hear someone else so that I can be able to grow and become. So we don't want to get into this lie that I should know. Well, accept I do not know and seek for the help, because that is what is going to empower you in the future to be able to live your life in a different way than you have been living. And also to really, and I think Sia, maybe you guys, as you have been talking about attachment theory, we all know that in order for us to heal our attachment trauma, we've got to learn how to reparent ourselves. And there is something I always say: when you go into distress, emotional distress, you revert into a child state. So it is no longer the grown-up Grace who is showing up. It is the wounded little girl Grace who has never been acknowledged. And that is why when I do childhood trauma therapy, it is usually very painful, because I take my clients back to their childhood experience, and I have them confront some of their experiences they had with their caregivers. And it's usually very painful. And that's when I tell them, now you are doing the work. If it's painful, now you are doing the work, because that child needs to be reassured and reaffirmed and soothed, so that now they can, so that now when you go into distress, you don't go into a child stress. You are able to manage and balance your emotions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now,
okay, the question,
the one about social media. Now I'm going to say this: you can meet whoever, anywhere, wherever, but the process is the same. So do not make decisions on social media. Let me say this: no matter how much you feel the chemistry, do not make a decision to marry someone or to have long-term relationship with the person before you have met. There is something that happens when you are face to face with someone. So don't get engaged with somebody who is in Europe and you're in Africa, you have never seen them. Even if you have seen them on camera, please don't do that. There is, even if you accept the
I hope still
proposal.
getting that one.
Huh? Even if you accept the proposal, you are not going to still do anything because they are away from you. So wait, if you want to get engaged, make sure that you have a meetup so that you get to spend a few days with each other, get to feel how it feels for you guys to be in the same space. Now, this is the thing. When somebody is online, you may not be able to know how they will react when you are in person and among your friends, among your family. So you want to do that.
Yeah.
When you are in the same space and you have to go to work and then you get late before you come home, you don't know how they will react. So it is very important for you to, you can meet somebody anywhere you want to meet them. You can date them whichever way you want, but the principles of before you make a commitment to a person are the same, that you need to know that person in a deeper and more intimate way as far as face to face. So if and then the other thing that we want, the pitfalls that I have seen a lot in especially in the dating that we are doing these days, I don't know what has changed, but now people are dating, and before you make commitments, you've already gotten too emotionally and financially and otherwise entangled. So you are sharing, you are buying people, you are paying people for their house, and you are dating and all this. So it causes a lot of connectedness before you have found out whether you are compatible. You see, so it's important. And people use manipulation, like if you loved me, if you cared about me, you would want to help me. You see, that one I say that's a manipulation tactic. Don't accept, because before they knew you.
Please, ma'am, you go deeper on that, just on that one.
Yes. I was going to say, before, one of the things that you need, because that's codependency, it's called codependency. So before they knew you, they were living their life, right?
Yes.
And they had their own way of being able to meet their needs. They had resources outside of you. How come suddenly you have become their only source of help? You see, even you yourself, you need to ask yourself, I don't know this person that well. How come they feel so free? But you see, some of us, we feel honored, quote unquote, and we feel validated when somebody says, I don't have rent, would you pay my rent this month? That is what now you are doing. What you are doing codependency right there.
Yeah. I was saying the other time, I think I wrote it on my Facebook, one of my Facebook posts sometime, asking how are you, I'm a lady and you are a man, and you get to know me via social media, and you build this relationship with me, trying to ask me out or something. How are you comfortable to ask me for money or tell me about your money problems? Like, sometimes you have not even met face to face, but you're so comfortable telling me that, I'm on my last fuel and I don't have a plan to put fuel. Like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Why are you not respecting yourself as a man to tell somebody else about this? I mean, how am I supposed to even see you as somebody that I can build a life with if you're going to have issues like that? Like, this is my last fuel, or I'm short on whatever money or whatever. And I say this even to ladies. I'm like, before you started talking to this person, before you met this person, you had your squad, you had your team, you had your people, that you would go to if you ever needed anything. Like, we all live with people, that if I'm short on money, this is the friend that I can call, or my brother or my cousin or whoever. If I need advice on this is the person I can call. So how now all of a sudden your life revolves around this person. Now, everything that you need must come from one person. It's not natural. It's not normal at all. So I don't know what you were saying earlier, that if we have any past trauma or whatever that we still need to deal with, we still need to heal, it is better to invest on that before we start this relationship, because these relationships, more than anything, they reveal our brokenness. Like if you watch people in relationships, that's where their brokenness is mostly revealed. You see that, no, here I am dealing with a 5-year-old trapped into a 40-year-old body. This person, their emotional intelligence, their reasoning, their everything is a 5-year-old. Like, this person is stuck wherever they were stuck in their past, and they never healed from that. But now they're trapped in an adult's body, and you are supposed to understand them and help them through life, and it doesn't make sense. So I wanted to say that same to Sydney, that whoever you can meet somebody anywhere, but whoever you meet, follow the rules, get to know the person before you start making commitments and planning your life or seeing your dream wedding or whatever. So get to know the person, and not everybody is truly who they say they are in social media. Social media, we can act a lot. It's easy for us to hide behind the screen and present the life that we think is acceptable, and present the life that we think people want to see, and not our real selves. So you cannot conclude on a person based on what's on their timeline. You cannot conclude on a person based on what they share with you, because we do choose how much we share with people that we are sharing with. So until you get to know the person better, don't hold on thinking of your dream wedding or how many children you're going to have or whatever. Just get to know the person better. We have run out of time. Darius, you wanted to say something before we say our goodbyes?
Well, I think I've even forgotten. I got interrupted by a phone call.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, Mama Grace, thank you so much for your presence. And to everyone that joined us on all the different platforms, thank you so much. This was wonderful. We are definitely going to invite you again, Mama Grace. We have a lot of topics throughout, and we definitely, yes.
Actually, allow me to say this. Mommy Grace is very difficult to access. You can imagine I've been trying to access her for the past, 4 months? So in the presence of the people, Mommy Grace, could you kindly grace us just next week again? I know your schedule is very busy. Just next week, we'll let you go for the next 4 months again. Just next week again on Thursday. We can deal with reparenting next week.
Unmute yourself, Mama.
Yes, I was saying yes. Thank you, Darius. I'm really honored to be here, and I'll be glad to do that. We can organize. I can organize a presentation on reparenting. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Yes, we definitely need that one. There's a lot of us that need to go back to that little girl, that little boy that was broken and never taken care of. I will be definitely looking forward to next week's one. To everyone, thank you so much. Have a good night. Let us meet again, same time, same place, next week. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.